So we're going to talk about absolute cell references. And in order to do that, we're going to, well, I'm going to do a little example, which is a multiplication table. So we're going to do an autofill. So first of all, I'm going to do a multiplication table. I'm going to do 1, 2, and I'm going to highlight these, and I'm going to drag it down to, I don't know, 12. Okay, and it's going to do an autofill. And do the cross the same way, 1, 2, and I'm going to drag it across to here. So now I have a multiplication table, 12 by 12. And I can go in here and I can do a formula that says this cell is going to be equal to that one times that one. Okay? And we know 1 times 1 is 2. And I can say this is equal to that one times that one. This time I use the arrow keys. That works. This one is equal to, I'm just going to do it literally, B3 times E2. Okay. Well, that seems like a lot of work because there's going to be 144 values here that I don't want to type in. What I could do is I could copy and paste, or I could just do an autofill right now with these formulas, and I can drag it across, and it's going to drag a formula across. Unfortunately, that doesn't look right. And what it's doing is it's taking a value that's, because it took this cell here, 2 over and 1 up. And this is also, well, 1 over, because it's doing the same formula, 2 over and 1 up. 2 over and 1 up. Okay? So I tried to copy those formulas, but every time we move a formula, so if I do this and I drag it across, every time I do the formula, this is 1 over and 1 up, 1 over and 1 up, 1 over and 1 up. That's how it defines a formula. So what I want to do is I want to do an absolute cell reference. And what an absolute cell reference says is the $ anchors the column or the row so that it is not changed when copied or autofilled. So example here is, if I want to do this, when I take this cell, I always want the value up here to be in row 2. And I always want to be the value over here in column B. So when I do this, what I want to do is I want to put a $ in front of the B. And I want to put a $ in front of the 2. And the reason why I want to do that is so that when I copy it, I'm going to now drag it across like I did before, and the value's there. So here we had one row over, or 1 column over and 1 row up. But here I want to do 2 columns over and 1 row up, 3 columns over and 1 row up. And you see the formula. Here this is B3, and here this is now B3. C2, but G2. So the B3 isn't going to change horizontally, but the G is going to change as we go because that's fixed. So now we go here, and then we can drag them all the way down, and now we have a multiplication table. So we can see this cell, the column here has been fixed because there's a $ in front of the B, and in this cell, the row has been fixed because there's a $ in front of the 2. One way to do this a little quicker is to actually press F4, and it will cycle through all of the options here. So I'm just pressing F4, and it's going to go from 2 $, which means that cell will never change, to a $ in front of the 3, meaning that row will never change, $ in front of the B, meaning that column will never change, or just being unlocked so that it'll actually move around anywhere we want. So I want just the $ in front of the B, and that's my cell. So it didn't take me very long to make a multiplication table, and I didn't have to type things in 144 times, and that's really the advantage. One of the biggest advantages of Excel over a calculator is that if you're doing the same calculation over and over and over with different values, you just put different values in, and it's going to do it. So absolute cell references, I'll just put a little note here. Okay. Say $1 in front of a column means that the column will not change when copied. And $1 in front of a row number means that the row will not change when copied. And if you do both, row or $ in front of both the row and the column, basically makes it a constant value. That never changes when copied. All right. So, question for you, I'm going to have you do a little challenge. I want you to make a multiplication table. So you can do this to 12 if you want. You can do this to 12, all the way to 12 if you want. You can do it to 20, you can do it to 200, I don't care. And do a little multiplication table, make it look fairly pretty. I don't know, maybe I'll do a little background color here like this. But what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can do it in the least amount of steps as possible.